It tends to be that wages move in tandem with costs, generally speaking, because again, there is no such thing as a non-living wage. Nobody dies on their wage. And that is not a thing that happens inside the United States. This is why when people say living wage, the question is, well, what do you mean by a non-living wage? Do you just mean a wage that you don't think is high enough? And for what job? And what does the market look like?
One of the telltale signs of a political hack, and we've known that Ben Shapiro is exactly that for the Republican Party for many years now, is when they make everything an argument about Democrats or Republicans or left or right. When, for Ben Shapiro to say that, typically wages rise in tandem with the rising cost of living, like, not necessarily, Ben, because if there's no reason for corporate executives or for corporations to pay people more, then they're not going to do it. People don't just do the right thing simply because it's the right thing to do in all circumstances, especially when we're talking about powerful individuals who have access to capital and resources, and when they have that control over the workforce.
Arise Chicago is a group that helps workers through the complicated process of recovering stolen wages.
Often what we see with people who come to us with wage theft cases is, I feel like my employer did this because they were confident they could get away with it.
So for you to say that, oh, well, these are just left-wing policies and the reason why wages are so low right now is because of left-wing policies just doesn't make sense when the Republican Party are the ones who cut taxes for corporations even more than the Democrats do. When Republicans are the ones who are always axing regulations that do things like keep our food and water safe or keep banks from being able to screw us over. I mean, just think about Mick Mulvaney in the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Think about the Republican Party's ire and angst against the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which returned $12 or $13 billion to defrauded customers.
Talking about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, if we could show that, please. There it is. Mick Mulvaney, Congressman Mulvaney then, said, "It's a wonderful example of how a bureaucracy will function if it has no accountability to anybody. It turns up being a joke, and that's what the CFPB is. Really is. It has been in a sick, sad kind of way." You are now the acting director, and has your outlook or the agency itself improved?
No. But no, we can't have that, because we can't have these government institutions and these government bodies interfering with corporate America's ability to, just make money however they can. Ben Shapiro's been making good money for quite some time, and he doesn't really have any concern for people who are struggling to make ends meet. All he ever really says is, well, just have more responsibility and, just make better decisions. It's only a matter of that, which is ridiculous, because that means that hundreds of millions of people are just making the wrong decision. And let's be serious, that kind of message really only works with well-to-do conservatives. Conservatives in rural America who are struggling to make ends meet, they're not going to hear that necessarily and think like, oh, he's right on the money. The government trying to do things about our wages, there's nothing to see here. There's nothing wrong here. There's nothing going on. Now, people are quite aware that corporate America is greedy and that corporate America has corrupted our system so much to the point that they typically get what they want. I mean, look what pharmaceutical companies and private healthcare insurance companies do to people in this nation compared to what happens in other developed nations. Look at how much more expensive insulin here is here than in other nations. So this argument just simply doesn't work to say that, oh, well, people will just do the right thing, but it's the regulations that get in the way. There's just no real evidence for that.